Hey folks, I'm Kevin Iole, UFC 308 in Abu Dhabi. It is Saturday. That is going to be a big show. I can't wait to see that. And my next guest, I'm going to take the liberty of changing his nickname, right? Because he goes by Dan 50K Ige. But I decided, you know what? Forget about that 50K. That's just old hat stuff. It's Dan 3 hour Ige right now, given what's going on. How are you, Dan?
I'm good, man. Feeling good here, getting ready to go train. Got all the boys, got Eric, got my brother-in-law Skylar, got Ian, got all my guys out here. So we're feeling good. Good energy. Um it's weight cut week, right? So we're just getting down to we're right on point. So it's just counting down the hours, man. I can't wait. Go out there and have some fun and put on a great show Saturday.
How strange is this you after your last experience when you fought at UFC 303 on a couple of hours' notice? I imagine having a normal fight camp might be a little odd now.
Yeah, it's what we do. I mean, I train every single day. I just so happen to get the opportunity on the day of a fight. That's great, but having notice is nice. You can dial things in, and there's even priorities like in the household. It's just nice to like, hey, man, I'm getting ready for this fight. Things change a little bit, but not too drastically. But I just feel really good. It gives you that time to dial in and peak properly. And, I take my training very seriously. I was just happened to be in the right place in the right time. And I felt good when they called. So I took that chance. But here we are, a couple days away. I feel really good. I'm dialed in. I'm just ready to go. I get another opportunity to climb the ladder. And yeah, here we are.
Lerone Murphy, number 12. You are number 14. I want to ask you about Lerone in a second, but let me start by just asking you this. In retrospect, was taking the Diego Lopez fight the way you did, everybody admired the courage that you showed, the heart that you showed, everything you did. But at the end of the day, it was a loss, right? And you're in a business that is a win business, right? So when you look back on the totality of all the positives and all the negatives, was it a net positive or a net negative to take the fight on short notice?
I think it was a huge net positive. Obviously, it's not like I have a perfect record. I've lost a lot and I have a lot of blemishes on my career, whatever you want to call it, or on my record. But that was just that was an opportunity to do something great, to showcase who I am. More people now than ever recognize me and
Yeah.
notice and give me that praise and recognition. And I don't let it change me or anything, but it's nice, it's nice to like that other people could see that. And fortunately, that's what it took, you know.
Right.
But I feel like it worked out in a positive manner, and if anything, I just feel like I have momentum. It's weird. I feel like I
Yeah.
have momentum going into this fight. A lot of people, that's all week, we're talking about it, but I try to, I'm very present, so that was in the past. It happened. It was great, but here we are now, and I'm focused. I'm present, and I'm looking forward to Saturday.
At DraftKings, Lerone Murphy is a minus 258 favorite. You are plus 210. Lerone undefeated, right? So that's a good opportunity for you fighting an undefeated guy, coming off a very impressive performance against Edson Barboza. Obviously, he has two nicknames, but the Iceman, I think, is in relation to a very popular fighter from the past of Chuck Liddell. How can we ever forget him? But what do you make of Lerone, and do you feel like you have the game to neutralize that great striking that he has?
I absolutely I do. We're similar in a lot of ways as far as being able to fight pretty good out of both stances. He has great feints and good movement, good footwork, and as do I. It's just I do believe I've the equalizer in my right hand or my left hand, doesn't matter. But I also have the experience advantage. It's not like he's this young buck killer coming up. He's 33, I'm 33. This is my 18th fight in the UFC. I believe he has six, maybe seven. This might be his seventh,
Yeah.
and I've fought some of the best guys, and I am one of the best guys. And it's just having coming down, self belief in that, and but from the well-rounded side of things, I truly do believe that I can dictate where this fight goes and mix up the fight. I don't have to keep a stand and bang striking fight. I know that's what fans love to see, but
Yeah.
I'm a smart fighter, and but I can make a fight exciting from anywhere. But that's not my main goal. But I just so happen to make exciting fights just from the way I fight. So it's just going out there and putting a pace, and pace is a huge thing too, especially in a 3 round fight. I can't go out there and just be lackadaisical. It's just pressure from early on, and make them miss, make them make mistakes, and take away his confidence, and then let my confidence grow, and hopefully we get a finish.
You know, you mentioned 18 fights in UFC. You're a veteran, so you're probably not going to be affected too much by the crowd. But a lot of times, if you're in a grappling heavy or a wrestling heavy fight in the US, right, the crowd boos and you get that. You're going to be in Abu Dhabi, right? You're a guy with a collegiate wrestling background, a black belt in jiu-jitsu, a brown belt in judo, right? You have the credentials to grapple, and I would think that the crowd there maybe would appreciate that more than say a crowd in Las Vegas that would be looking for somebody to get their head knocked off, right? Does that change the equation in any way, knowing that, I know you're not playing to the crowd, but I mean, you don't have to worry about getting booed the first time the fight hits the ground.
Yeah, no, I've actually never thought of it that way, and that you have a good perspective, especially being where we are in the Middle East, and Khabib and those guys and the Dagestanis being such great and big fighters over here, and everyone just, I mean, they can truly appreciate that art. Um, but yeah, I didn't think of that, and that's a good point. And I don't really get affected by the crowd too much, but you hear a big roar, so you get excited. You want to go when I fought Nate Landwehr in Canada, I remember I dropped him and everyone was going crazy, and then I
Right.
went crazy. And but I think it's just taking my time, and picking my shots, but applying a constant pressure. And I could get a takedown if I need to, and I'm exciting on the ground too. I don't have to just lay on the guy. I can inflict damage, and
Right.
I have heavy ground and pound and great submissions. So we'll see what happens.
Do you feel like it's a championship opportunity is still realistic for you, given where you are? You're number 14. It's probably going to take 3 wins in a row to get there, or 4 wins maybe, right? Do you feel like that's a realistic goal for you, or do you not look at it that way? Do you just look at it more on a fight by fight basis?
I think given my fighting style, and the way I fight and getting impressive performances, it is realistic, but it's realistic starting with this fight. This
Right.
fight is very important. I can't go out there and lose to Lerone Murphy, because I don't look at it like this is my last chance. But for me to go out there and fight for a title, you know, I've been given many chances. I've Korean Zombie, I fell short. Calvin Cater, I fell short. I've had some big fight. Josh Emmett just fell short. It's a close fight.
Right.
Um, I gotta win this fight, and I could put myself back there, and I truly believe I can, and I will.
When you look at to me, like we're looking in the UFC, first of all, let's say the best fighters in the world, just from number 1 to number 700, wherever you are. But then within that subset, right, you have groups of them. What is the difference between the people at the tippy top, the champions, and maybe number 1, number 2 guys are consistently in that range, compared to the guys that like are where you are, like 10 to 15 ranges? Is there a mindset difference? Is there a physical difference? Is there anything that differentiates, those guys at the tippy top from where you are right now?
I think I think the technical differences is very minute.
Yeah.
Mental is huge. I think mental. I wouldn't. I think the mentality, is that top 10, top five, and then that top five, that 1% is like, it's just securing. It's the little small details in winning rounds. Like I have, like for instance, I have an amazing gas tank, and but I didn't fully like in the Diego Lopez fight. Yeah, I showed that, and I came out in round three dominant, putting a pace, but like I could have put a little more output in round one and two,
Yeah.
or round two, put a little more output and win that round and win that fight. So it's like it's risk management is big, and I don't know, man. I'm still figuring it out, but I think I think we're getting it. You know, it's just taking me a lot of time and a lot of chances, but uh, I think my gas tank is a huge tool of mine, and I have to really trust that. And I've never been tired in a fight, really. I've honestly never been tired, and that could be me holding back, looking for one shot, big shots. But I'm gonna, you're gonna see me use my gas tank to full effect on Saturday.
Dan, when we look at the X factors, right? You have one of the best coaches in the business in Eric Nixi. I think if he's not the best coach in MMA, certainly he's in the top 5 when you talk about overall coaches. How much can a guy like that, help you in those kind of things, right? Not the technical so much, right? There's a lot of good coaches at the technical, like those, but the things that you just talked about, being the mental differences that separate the good from the great. Is a guy like Eric special to you, and can he help you in that kind of regard?
Yeah, I mean he's incredibly special to me, and like you said, not so much on the technical side. I have like tacticians that help me, like specialists in boxing and kickboxing, and just even him allowing being open minded. Hey, go train with this coach. Go train with this coach. But as far as tactics and game planning and mentality, he's bar far one of the best ever. And it's me believing in that too, right? Because we're so
Right.
close. Sometimes you like it's not like taking it for granted, but like you almost like don't know what you have sometimes. And
Yeah.
I recognize what I have, and I have full belief in him, and he has full belief in me. So that's a huge thing right there. It's just having that trust, and that gives me confidence. It gives me confidence going in there. Although it is me in there fighting, I know I have a team and an army behind me, and an amazing leader behind me too.
Let's wrap with this. I just want to ask you about Francis Ngannou. I know he trains at Extreme Couture, where you trains under Eric Nixi. He had that big win in PFL on Saturday. I'm sure you as a new father can relate to what he went through. I mean, I'm glad you can't relate to it, but I mean, it's,
Yeah.
obviously the tragedy that he went through with losing his son. Were you concerned at all for Francis going into that fight? Like, did you feel like Francis was going to be able to perform at the high level? And what was your take on the way he carried himself both in the fight and then when it was over?
I mean, I was concerned in the fact, like, I know how important it was for him, but I was concerned in the fact that that fight was dedicated to Kobe, and it scares me, man. Like, had he lost that fight, like we all know, fighting anything can happen. That and Ferrer could, has the ability to end guys with one punch. He's
Right.
huge, and I just don't know. Like, I was more so afraid of the fact, like, what a loss could do in that situation when you've publicly, privately, and publicly dedicated that fight to your son who passed away. So, but yeah, it was very like I don't know, man. I was nervous in that sense, and I didn't watch the fight live because it was at like 2 a.m. over here, so I was sleeping. But I woke up, I checked Twitter, I saw he got the win, and I saw how emotional, and it was emotional for me. Like I started my
Yeah.
day off like shedding a tear, like a happy tear, and
Amazing.
I couldn't be more happier for him, man. It's just like he's such a great human, and what it does for him and for the team. I'm so happy for the team and Eric coming here on a nice big win like that.
Yeah.
Um yeah, it's awesome and amazing, but now it's my turn. So
Well, I appreciate you, Dan. Always classy as always. Wish you the best of luck and look forward to seeing you soon, bud.
right on, Kevin. We'll talk soon. Thank you.
You're welcome. See